But what you need to know, Father, is...
Nothing further, thank you. That's more than sufficient, Winston. You do, however, seem to know a great deal about these things. When I hear you talk, I really wonder why you didn't go into politics.
But, Father,
You might have made a name for yourself. You might even have done something to help. Of course, you're too old now to think about such things.
But, Father, wait, don't go. Damnable. Damnable.
Do all men feel this burden? Unrelenting, once begun. This age-old paternal legacy bestowed on each unknowing son. No matter where, no matter when, on any whim he will intrude. Not even dreams bring me reprieve. Why do I care? Why should I brood? He painted me in corners. He glared at me and sneered. When he found my efforts lacking, he turned his back and disappeared. He spoke in the arena. All ears, they ached for more. I heard his voice commanding, but my own, it could not soar.
May I present Miss Clementine Hosier and Mr. Anthony Marsh and Miss Sylvia Stanley and Mr. Edward Eden.
Mother? Mother! Oh, Mother, do you see her? Mother?
Indeed, Winston, it appears you shall have a second chance. I'm sure you can improve upon the first impression you made months ago. Or should I say, depression?
I have not forgotten, Mother.
Well, let's hope she has. Miss Hosier.
Oh, Lady Randolph, how good to see you again. This is my cousin, Sylvia Stanley.
My pleasure, Lady Randolph.
How nice to meet you, Miss Stanley.
And Mr. Marsh and Mr. Eden.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening, gentlemen. Clementine, you remember my son Winston?
Of course. A pleasure, Mr. Churchill. I've been reading about your remarkable speeches in the newspapers.
Yes. Winston has worked hard to perfect his speaking skills.
Oh, I'm sure he comes by them naturally. Your father was a fine speaker, was he not, Mr. Churchill?
Would you care to dance, Clementine? And you, Sylvia?
Gentlemen, permit us to powder our noses first.
Well, there is, by all means, yes.
He fancies you, Clemmy. Our speechmaker, Mr. Churchill, can't even get a word out. You have him as tongue-tied as a politician caught in a truth.
Really, Syl?
There is no doubt. Of course, you'll have to do some moulding and curing. Men are like great lumps of wet clay.
Wet clay?
Yes, indeed. In the right hands, great works of art. Inspiring, memorable. Left alone, just great lumps of wet clay.
Oh, my.
Not to worry, dear. He'll be worth the effort, and your penniless existence will be a thing of the past.
Well, that would help poor Mother, but I could never marry a man for money.
Oh, no. Only for love.
Such brilliant speeches, but he can't seem to speak to me.
I assure you, his tongue will unwind once you've finished winding him up. Men are simple wind-up toys.
I thought they were lumps of wet clay.
Clay, toys. Either way, left alone, they are quite useless.
Well, I need useful, not useless. I feel Winston may be the exception to your rule, Syl.
For you, Clemmy, I hope so. Surely there exists at least one exception to that rule. I'm going to dance.
Well, Winston, you are 33 and you've yet to find yourself a wife. By your age, your father and I had been married for 8 years.
Your point?
Show me a man of consequence. I see the work of a woman's good sense. Without her hand, he cannot be a luminary page in history. What is a man without a woman who will act curb his tongue. What is a man without a woman? Her praise is unsung. What is a man without a woman? Stereotypical a beatitude. What is a man without a woman? Terminological inexactitude. How do you like that one, Winston? You will do well, son, with wifely advice. Monthly while courting, then daily is nice.
And so this opportunity is now tragically lost. And with it, so many more men.
You are not the only member of the War Council concerned about our mounting losses, Winston. Lord Fisher has been apoplectic for months.
Get out.
I beg your pardon.
I said get out.
Why, you're mad. As mad as your father was.
Now attack my heredity if it soothes your conscience.
So be it, Winston. You were warned. I shall now take my leave. I shall also announce your resignation in the House of Commons on Monday. Of course, with regret and heartfelt gratitude for your many years of service.
Poppycock. From old men. Lord of the bloody Admiralty. Are you satisfied now, Father? So many men. Can you hear the young men sing? The tromp of boots, feel the battle sting. Do they rate a fleeting thought? Or do we ignore what they have sought? Can you see the young men dream? A vibrant youth with a talk supreme. But with age and fading truth, are we now immune to dreams of youth?
Sil, I'm going to have a baby girl. Isn't that wonderful?
But dear, how do you know it's a girl? It was only a dream after all.
Because I won't risk another Churchill male to war.
I hope and pray that you are right, Clemmy.
I must be right, Sil.
Then maybe Winston will be home in time for the birth? Was Winston in your dream?
I don't dream about Winston returning from the war. I won't tempt fate.
He will be here, Clemmy. You'll see. No one can take Winston's place.
You're right, Sil. No one can take Winston's place. Who could possibly be so pig-headed, so self-absorbed, and so bloody stupid? Volunteering for the front.
Lord Randolph strikes again.
Exactly. Now, Winston can't seem to find a balance between his insatiable need to please his father and his occasional need to be a father. If he dies, we're left all alone. If he survives and returns triumphant, his father's ghost will applaud. But will I applaud?
Problem is, you're daft enough to still be worried sick about him.
I am. It's true. Isn't that absurd?
Yes, love is. I think I'll leave you now so you can rest. I'm sorry I woke you. We'll talk later.
You fill every corner of my heart today. You fill every corner of a heart in dismay. You made every day new, like it wasn't before. I've learned you're a heart true, and even much more. You fill every corner
I feel like a mother-in-law.
Yes, and unfortunately, you bear a striking resemblance to mine.
Oh, you're a man of the world, Charlie. Yeah, surely you can see the danger. For I can hear it crossing the channel. A frenzy growing louder each day. I can feel it closing in, as if I'm being followed. It's reaching out, it's real, and it's here now.
Yes, and because of him, the great dictator. It will be many years before we see the return of tolerance and empathy in this world.
So you do see it, Charlie. I was beginning to fear I was the only one. But no one of influence will listen to my warnings.
It doesn't matter, Winston. The man on the street is listening, and it is he, the common man, who needs to hear. Your day is coming.
Does your little tramp really think so, Charlie?
Of course, Winston. Is he not the common man? The great dictator is an imitator. He's really a ghoul, but not a fool, so don't be fooled by him. The great dictator is an imitator. He's really a ghoul, but not a fool, so don't be fooled by him. Dress up to play the part of a crazy Bonaparte. Add evil a la carte. That's all you need to start. The great dictator is an imitator. He's really a ghoul, but not a fool, so don't be fooled by him. Comb glue into your hair.
God's teeth, Charlie. Glue, really?
The hair will never move. Comb glue into your hair.
We interrupt tonight's broadcast to bring you this special report. Germany has invaded Poland. We repeat, Germany has invaded Poland. An emergency session of Parliament has been called by Prime Minister Chamberlain. All members are rushing to return to London. We wish them Godspeed.
Anything else on your mind, Gilbert?
Chamberlain won't do. No, he won't do at all. Not now. Not after this.
You're right, dear. We need a fighter now. A winner. A winner like Winnie.
Winnie? You mean Churchill? But you just said...
Changed our minds, love. A lady's prerogative, don't you know? Might even change him again. But for now, we need a winner. A winner like Winnie.
We wouldn't trade him for a guinea.
Right, love. But we trade the PM.
He's a bloomin' ninny.
We need a winner. A winner like Winnie. We need a winner like Winnie. We wouldn't trade him for a guinea. We need a winner like Winnie. Indeed we do. We need him now. We need a winner like Winnie. And not a PM who's a ninny. We need a winner like Winnie. Indeed we do. We need him now. And while England slept, he used his time to explore the worlds of war and wine. He's got the best to keep us free, guts and spirit and a pedigree. We need a winner like Winnie. We wouldn't trade him for a guinea. We need a winner like Winnie. Indeed we do. We need him now. So bring...
What's the matter, Clemmy?
Those are the least of your troubles, Winston.
Why, Clemmy, my cat, whatever do you mean? What could possibly cause me more trouble than the chain of events I've just recounted?
You don't know? After the display I've just witnessed. God's teeth, Winston. Are you daft? Such abominable behaviour, Prime Minister, is inexcusable. And I had refused to believe it was true, but now I'm a witness to your vulgarity. I have been told that this is a trait for which you are becoming widely known, just as your father was.
Yes.
You must change course immediately.
I beg your pardon?
Course, Winston. Change your bull-headed and browbeating course this instant. You can begin by apologising to your entire staff.
Really?
Today.
I won't.
You will.
I can't.
You must.
In time.
Today.
Today?
Quite right.
I'll write them.
You'll greet them.
One by one?
All at once.
Together?
That's it.
Oh, my.
Oh, yes.
So you heard?
I did.
From the start?
Indeed.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes.
And did you hear?
Very clear.
Every word?
All absurd.
Oh.
Every word that I've heard is a masterpiece in quoting the absurd. Every word that I've heard, including those inferred, will leave the enemy undeterred. Every shout, every cry that you utter is a recipe without the cream and butter. If you want to win the fight, then treat your people right. I suggest you think it over overnight.
Help is imminent. Are there others inside?
My granddaughter, Maggie.
He's gone back for her, Winston.
Yes. Let's hope it holds.
Maggie! Maggie!
I fear that time has lost its patience with this house, Winston.
Yes, but let's not lose ours. Come on now, Gilbert. Out with her. Gilbert! Maggie runs out of the house just as... Gilbert!
Thank God, Maggie. Thank God.
Gilbert.
Well done, Gibby, well done.
God bless
Gilbert.
you, Cohen, Winston.
He never gave up. And neither will England ever give up. We shall fight on, and oft times we shall despair. But pray, persevere in God's presence, and victory will be our bounty. We shall fight on, and the undefeated will be our victim, the unvanquished our triumph, and the blindly followed our easy prey. We shall fight on, with the bilious taste of strife in the past unknown, and this island will rise to overshadow past glories. For even now, as a truly evil strike their heinous blows, in the fullness of time, we, the truly moral, shall overcome. For we shall never give up, never give up. Although the tide may take a turn for worse, never give up. Although you've much to learn of great concern, think of the men of air and sea and land who make a stand. Think of the men fighting day by day for freedom's way. This is the cause to keep on.
Can't you see?
What?
We're old. And I, for one, am tired.
Yes, well, perhaps my body is beginning to fossilize, my dear, but my mind continues to fertilize.
Please be sensible, Winston. Stop pandering to your father.
Pandering? I've done no such thing, Clemmy.
Winston, what is our only son's name?
Our only son's name.
Pardon me, I didn't hear you.
Well, it's a fine name.
Yes, but what is it?
Really, Clemmy, must we do this?
Apparently we must.
Well,
His name?
It's Randolph.
Come again, Winston.
Randolph.
Yes, and it is time for you, the son, to let go of your father and his unholy ghost.
I don't know.
I'm clinging to the belief that you might now be prepared to retire.
My political career is like this painting, my dear.
There are a few more brushstrokes to add before it will be complete.
A measure of a man's life is not only what he accomplishes, Winston. You have been in God's pocket to survive this long. Can't your family have what's left of your dwindling time? Is there no room left in your painting for us?
In silence, Churchill watches Clementine depart. Churchill remains frozen to his spot.
Paint a landscape of my life, an empty page for birth one night. Use the plain and lonely shades through my youth and school days. Paint a landscape of my life. Use the reds for a soldier's strife, one of few who came back from war. Some lucky green, and then some more, and watch the canvas fill with colors both fresh and dry, and splashes here and there of good and bad
gone by. Paint a landscape of my life, some Tory blue and wedding white, children pink with rosy cheek, great plans of colors, strong, not meek. Paint a landscape of my life, the written word used like a knife. Parry here, then strike to kill, for tyranny will fall to will, and watch the canvas fill. Now little space to spare, and feel the palette dry, as kings and queens despair. Paint a landscape of my life, a Yankee Brit through day and night. Presidents and monarchs met, a citizen of both, and yet I feel the cool of night on the empire and my brow, and so I rest at last